Hello, everyone, and welcome to another mini sky tonight. So before I begin the video, I wanted to give you guys a couple of updates. First of all, I know many of you have been calling, knocking on our door, asking us, hey, when are we going to open? My kids are anxious about coming to the planetarium again. I want to visit, etc. We hear you. We're anxious to open up our doors too. We were hoping to be able to be open by now, but sadly, we've had to ask the college to be able to open up our doors again, and we were given the response, not yet. We're not sure when, but I can guarantee you, as soon as we are able to open up our doors again, we will blast it out on social media. So just hang in tight with us as we just be able to endure just a little longer. I know many of us are tired of YouTube and Zoom meetings, and we are too. We want to be able to engage with our audience members and to provide hands-on activities. So just bear with us a little longer. But just to give you a rough idea of things that are coming up down later in the month, on October 16th is International Observe the Moon Night. We can't host anything here, but you'll be able to step outside and take a look at the moon. In fact, next week I'll do a video talking about International Observe the Moon Night and some of the fun things you can do to check out our moon. Also, November 5th, we will be hosting the James Webb Space Telescope launch party. We understand that it's going to be launched in December, but we wanted to prep people to get excited for the launch of the new space telescope, as well as you'll get to hear here at the center one of the scientists who does have time on this new space telescope as soon as it launches. So keep an eye out for our social media when that event will happen. All right, but what I wanted to show you guys tonight is some of the constellations, planets, and deep sky objects you can see just from your own backyard until we're able to open up our doors again. The program I'm using is called Stellarium. It is a free planetarium program that you can download for any electronic device. In fact, I'll leave a link in the description below so that way you guys can check it out for yourselves. In the meantime, let me show you some of the things that you can see. So just shortly after sunset, you'll start to see a few stars pop out, but there will be 3 bright stars that'll be very prominent. Those stars are not stars at all. They're actually planets. The bright one towards the southwest is the planet Venus. And the other 2 bright ones over here are Saturn and Jupiter. So you get to see 3 planets in the early evening sky tonight, just shortly after sunset, which is a really good opportunity for many young students because especially during a school day, they have to get to bed early so they can get up early for school. So this is an opportunity to where you can even step outside just after dinner and take a look at these 3 planets before having to head off to bed. In fact, I recommend checking these 3 planets out with a pair of binoculars or small telescope to check out some of the unique details. I've done videos on each of these 3 individual planets. So if you want to check those videos out, check out our YouTube channel for all the different planets I discovered or discussed about in our YouTube channels. But for now, let's dim the sun and let's change it to night so that way we can actually check out some constellations. Those stars that you see streaking by are actually satellites. So the cool thing about this program as well is that it tracks satellites. So if all of a sudden you see a star that streaks across the sky but it's not blinking like an airplane, chances are it's a satellite. So you can use this program to help you track what satellite that is. So let's look over here towards the north. Let's check out a few constellations. There's this group of stars over here that many people recognize as the Big Dipper. But its proper name is called Ursa Major, the Great Bear, because it's part of this bigger constellation. Personally, I call it the Big Dipper myself because I have a difficult time seeing a bear out of that. But that's what's the great thing about an asterism. Asterisms can be called whatever you would like, as long as it makes it easy for you to remember where the constellation is and what it looks like. All right. If you take the two stars at the end of the Big Dipper's bowl and follow them in a straight line, you'll run into this star right here, which is called Polaris, but we sometimes refer to it as the North Star. And it's a part of the constellation known as Ursa Minor, the little bear. Again, I don't see a little bear out of this. I see a Little Dipper. So you can see the Big Dipper and the Little Dipper in the northern part of the sky. Now, some people have often asked me how to find the Big Dipper because as the seasons change, where the Big Dipper is located is different. So I always found it easy to remember that the Big Dipper during the winter and fall is basically scooping down into the earth. Like it's collecting the goods from the earth so that during the spring and summer, it's pouring out those goods onto the earth. So right now it's in the scooping phase to where it's going to scoop out more goodness. So right in between Ursa Major and Ursa Minor, there's this little lonely star right here, which is the tip tail of this long winding constellation. This is the constellation Draco, the dragon. And if you take the path even further between the Big Dipper and the Little Dipper to the North Star and keep going, you'll run into this constellation right here, which to me it looks like a child drawing of a house. But it's supposed to represent Cepheus, the king. If you've seen the movie Clash of the Titans, he's one of the main characters of the movie. In fact, this whole portion over here towards the right talks about many of the different constellations in that movie. Because many of the ancient people didn't have some of the modern conveniences we have for entertainment at night. All they had was a campfire and the stars. So they would often tell tales of death, danger, endless love, and place those stories up in the stars. And so the Clash of the Titans is one of those epic tales that several constellations cover over. In fact, in those stories is a queen as well. And just down below is this W-shaped constellation, which is the queen of that story, Cassiopeia. I like to call her the lazy W or the lazy M in the sky, depending upon the time of year. But some people refer to her as the chair, and you kind of can see a chair. So if you draw a line from here to here, kind of can get this box shape with a crooked back. So a chair of some kind. All right, let's turn to face south to check out a few more constellations. So over here towards the southwest is this J-shaped constellation. If you've seen the Disney movie Moana, you may recognize this group of stars as Maui's fishhook. In fact, the Polynesians were great celestial navigators, and they used constellations like Scorpius or Maui's fishhook to navigate the ocean with. In fact, believe it or not, I did a video talking about celestial navigation. So if you want to check out that video on how to navigate by the stars, I'll leave a link right up here. And you can check out means of being able to navigate by the stars and why sometimes Moana did these weird hand signs in the sky. The bright star in the constellation Scorpius is this star right here, which is called Antares. It is a huge supergiant star, and it has this deep red color. Not only do stars come in different sizes, they come in different colors as well, because color is an indicator of temperature. The more red in color you are, the cooler in temperature you are compared to the sun. The more blue in color you are, the hotter in temperature you are compared to the sun. Over towards the left of Scorpius is this unique constellation right here, which is sometimes referred to as Sagittarius, the half man, half horse kind of guy, an archer. I don't see a centaur out of this. I see a teapot. So here's the handle, the lid, and the spout. In fact, let's set the sun just a tad to show you something really unique. Yeah. One of the cool things I always enjoy about Sagittarius is that the spout of the teapot points towards the exact center of this fuzzy cloud that extends throughout the entire sky. If you get away from the city lights, roughly 10 to 15 miles away, you'll see this faint cloud on a clear moonless night. And that cloud is our galaxy, the Milky Way, seen edge on. And Sagittarius points towards the exact center of it. Following along the Milky Way, towards right up above our heads, you'll see these three stars that kind of form a triangle. That famous triangle is what is known as the Navigator's Triangle or the Summer Triangle. In fact, many navigators use these three stars for celestial navigation. The top star is called Vega, which is a part of the constellation of Lyra, the lyre, or the harp. The bottom left star is called Deneb, which is a part of the constellation Cygnus, the swan. And this bottom right star is called Altair, which is a part of the constellation Aquila, the eagle. But looking straight up above, there are two objects I wanted to show you guys. Hidden between the two stars of the constellation Lyra is a really unique object. In fact, if you have a pair of binoculars or a small telescope, I highly recommend checking out this object. So it's right in between these two stars. This is what is called the Ring Nebula, or M57. It is a telltale sign of what will happen to our star when it passes away. What's going on in our sun right now is a process called nuclear fusion, which is fusing lighter elements into heavier elements. So it's taking hydrogen, one of the most abundant elements in our universe, changing it to helium, helium to carbon, carbon to nitrogen, nitrogen to oxygen, and so on down the line. Now, for stars like our sun, they only have so much to fuse. So what they do to conserve energy and to try to keep the fusion process going for some of the heavier elements, they collapse down their core to try to create like a pressure cooker inside. And then it puffs out its outer layers, creating this cosmic ash ball around a core remnant star. And that's what we're seeing right here. This ring is basically the cosmic cocoon and the outer shell puffed out around the core remnant star. That is the core of the star that once was, the white dwarf of the Ring Nebula. Let's turn the sky just a tad to see the constellations again. There we go. One of the cool things that you can do is with your scroll wheel is zoom in and out. You can definitely see all this nebulosity that's within our Milky Way galaxy, which is really neat. But another cool thing that you can see is actually a star, or should I say two stars. At the tip nose of the constellation Cygnus, the swan, is a double star system. Most of the stars in our galaxy are double or multiple star systems, but this one is really unique. It's called Albireo. And the two stars that are in orbit around one another are vibrant colors. One's a deep gold and the other one is a brilliant blue. So sometimes it's referred to as the Cub Scout star. So if you want to check out two stars with unique colors, check out Albireo. All right, over here towards the east, you'll see this constellation that kind of looks like a big square. This is supposed to represent Pegasus, the cosmic winged horse. I don't see a cosmic winged horse out of this. I see a baseball diamond. So here's home, here's first, here's second, here's third. You got the pitcher talking with the coach, the catcher and the umpire, and you got your shortstop over here. So if you go from home, past first base, past the right fielder, past the center fielder, and you leave the stadium, you run into this faint object right here, which is the farthest thing you can see with your unaided eye. It is the Andromeda Galaxy, our sister galaxy, which is 2.5 million light years away from us. So it's the light from millions and millions of stars all shining in our direction that allow us to be able to see this faint object with our unaided eyes. And if you look closely with a pair of binoculars or a small telescope, you'll see these two little fuzzy patches next to the Andromeda Galaxy. Those are dwarf galaxies that are in orbit around the Andromeda Galaxy. So you can have galaxies orbiting galaxies. So these are some of the constellations, planets, and deep sky objects that you can see in the sky tonight. If you have any questions or comments, leave it down in the comments below. If there's a topic you would love for me to cover over, leave it down in the comments as well. And until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, never stop learning.